ghetto. The ghetto.
Okay. What's up, y'all? This is Rodney, and I'm back. And I wanted to talk about the real baddies of ATL. I wanted to talk about Basketball Wives Atlanta. I wanted to talk about the Bad Girls Club Atlanta edition. I wanted to talk about I'm a Bad Girl Atlanta edition, better known as what they call the Real Housewives of Atlanta. I don't even know where to start at because, you know, we still have about, I'm assuming probably 1 to 2 more. I feel like they're going to stretch out next week. So I don't know. You know how they do. We either have 1 or 2 more weeks of, the Queen, Kenya Summer. Um, I want to wait to give some of my commentary because I do have to say something to Kenya. I do, believe it or not. But until we get to next week, we're just going to focus on this week. Um, Bianca, get her off my TV screen. I tried to give Bianca the benefit of the doubt. I really, really did. Even in this episode, I still tried to give Bianca the benefit of the doubt. I really, really did. We're going to get into it. This is what happens when you invite cast fans to become cast members. I've said this numerous times, and I'll just state it again. It's 2025. Most people have seen these reality shows. I refuse to believe that, especially if someone joins the Real Housewives of Atlanta, they have not watched a season or two, or maybe 4 or 5, or maybe even 15 seasons, girl, of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. That was one of the, if not the biggest reality show on television at one point. But I think that it becomes an issue when you're like this hardcore fan, right? And you join the show because in Bethany's case, she came into this already with these preconceived notions, as I already stated back in episode 1, and she confirmed it last night about Kenya. And she couldn't let go of whatever thoughts she had about Kenya in her head. She wanted the Kenya more experience. She wanted the Kenya that we got when she would come through your event with a marching band, right? She wanted the Kenya that we got when she went around, girl, exposing Portia for having sex with that stripper. She wanted that Kenya. But as we know, Kenya is not trying to be that Kenya. Kenya already told us like a season or two ago that the villain stuff, girl, y'all can have it. And based off of how Kenya has moved these first 4 episodes, to me, it appears to me as if Kenya's role this season was to be in charge of the girls, basically, and to move the storylines along. I don't think Kenya really wanted to beef with any of the girls. I think Kenya really was just like, I'm going to be in charge of the girls, and, I'm going to get along with everybody, and I'm just going to push the storylines along. You know, I might have a little 1-2 with somebody, but girl, other than that, girl, that's not really my judge. Not this season, right? I'm going to let the girls pull on Portia's wig about Simon. I'm just going to sit back and let them do what they do. The new girls, they're going to have to work, basically. Let's go ahead. Angela. I like Angela. I like Angela. You know, the first episode, I was like, Angela really didn't do anything, but I also felt like it's the first episode. We need to give people a chance. Angela's cool. I don't know if Angela's going through menopause, but Angela is always like, I'm always hot. But I mean, clearly, I'm not going through menopause. Okay. But I'm a hot natured person. Angela always has a fan with her. No matter if they're inside, outside, Angela has a fan. If she is going through, a transition, I thought it would have been cute because I don't know if she is or not. I thought that would have been cute if she would have made that a storyline instead of trying to act like her husband ain't cheated on her and had a baby, allegedly. Let's just get into it. So Angela and Bianca go out for a walk. Angela's stretching. Girl, Bethany walks up with that dog. They have a conversation. Can we just talk? I don't know what's going on with Angela and Charles, okay? But last week, when Angela was in one of her homes that she's renovating, she was having a conversation with Charles. And then in the confessional, she basically said that around 2017, Charles was banned from Madison Square Garden. And, the way she presented the information to us, the way I took the information was she was basically trying to say that that incident had so much effect on their marriage that they had to separate and live separately. And I came down here and I said, girl, you're not going to get me to believe. Because I don't know if some of the girls caught this tonight. My job is to watch the show and review it and listen to what the girls are saying and what they're not saying. Hello? Because it's usually what they're not saying is where the truth is. And I came to her and I said, girl, you're not going to get me to believe that your husband being kicked out of a gymnasium when you just got married to him played a major part in your marriage to the point where you had to separate and go live separately. Girl, if he was out here in these streets, girl, just say it. Remember I said that? And then we look up and then a resurfaced clip of our good auntie Wendy Williams hit the internet. And Auntie Wendy was at work letting the people know. You know what? Let me just play the clip so y'all can hear for yourself.
Suzanne, I was at a party with he and his wife one time.
Yes.
And when I was leaving and, getting myself together, gathering my belongings. So I said goodbye to Charles, and then she came over and said goodbye. And she gave me a hug, and then she whispered in my ear, she said, can I tell you something? I said, what? She goes, Wendy, it's only a baby.
Oh.
You can work this out. And I looked at her like, has this ever happened to you? So she said, yes. I said, did you work it out? And she pointed over to Charles and said, yes. I said, well, then you're more for...
So it appears as if Charles cheated on Angela. We don't know. And now she's trying to make it seem as though her mother does not get along with Charles, or they had a big blow up and it was a straw that broke the camel's back. They got into an argument over, what did she say? I think she said they had a blow up over some dishes, like washing dishes. It was something very small. That one thing that that one thing that's really, trivial, but it's really other stuff that has kind of festered along this whole time. So she tried to make it seem as though it was just this one thing and it kind of like imploded, right? That's what she said. Girl, just say my mama and my sister found out that my nigga wasn't shit and he cheated on me and had a baby, and that's where the issue comes in. Again, okay, we don't know for a fact if Charles has a baby on Angela. That's what the streets are saying. That's what Auntie Wendy said pretty much. And when I look, when I think, I was supposed to go back and watch that clip. When Angie introduced those children, I remember her saying that she has 2 kids I think one she has with Charles, they had together, and I think Charles has 2 kids. And when that little boy walked into that kitchen, you know, I don't like to talk about nobody's children. But when that little boy walked into that kitchen, I started thinking in my head, girl, okay, so y'all got married around, you said the incident happened around 2017. This was around the time y'all got married. So I don't know if y'all got married, what, 2015, 2016? I don't know. So, okay, let's do 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Okay, that's 10 years. Okay, that's 10. So the little boy, look, he about 9, 8. Okay, girl. Girl, I don't know. Is that the little boy? Is that the little boy? Is that the side baby? Is that the oops baby? Is that the love child? Angela, and that's what I meant when I said last week. Well, I said this online, Twitter. If you don't follow me on Twitter, you wouldn't know. I think I said this in my live too. That the only 2 people on this show that are being honest and transparent with their storylines are Shamina, girl, and Kelly. Everybody else, I don't think that Angie is telling the truth. I don't think she's being honest and transparent. We know Portia ain't being honest and transparent. Britt, she not being honest and transparent. Girl, y'all homegirl Faye Faye, she ain't even on the show yet. You see what I'm saying? Angela, your mama and your sister don't get along with your man because they think he an ain't shit nigga. That's just what it is. Stop trying to act like girl. And so she was also telling Britt that she shouldn't have told. She basically started putting her family in her business. You know how y'all do. Girl, put us in your business. You make up with the nigga. We still mad about it. Girl, that happens all the time. And I'm gonna say something. Stop telling people if you know you're not gonna lead a nigga, girl, don't tell me. Because this happens all the time. Angela told her mother and sister about her husband. They're still pissed off, and Angela is over it. When she should have just kept her mouth closed from the get-go because you knew you weren't leaving Charles to begin with. But of course, eventually, if there is a baby, they're gonna find out about the son anyways. Because when we come over for Christmas or Thanksgiving, girl, who is this little boy? Where did he come from? Girl, that's so and so. That's so and so's son. Well, girl, you say y'all been together this long, and the little boy is this old, girl. If y'all been together for 9 years and the little boy is 8, then I'm just making up some numbers. Girl, let's move on. Um, Bernice, she wants an issue with Kenya. And clearly we saw this episode that that's just what it was. Girl, she tells Angela that I might throw little jabs out there, but I don't mean nothing by it. She also admitted to having a preconceived notion about Kenya. I said that episode 1. She also says that Kenya's personality precedes who she is. Angela says, "Girl, I thought that whatever little hiccup y'all had, y'all worked through it. Girl, it wasn't a hiccup. Girl, this is a one-sided beef. Kenya has greeted this lady every time she has seen her. She has given her compliments. She's called her pretty. She called her a bomb on Barbie. She's spoken to her, gave her a hug. But I don't know what else you want from me, girl. Girl, if we're gonna be honest, I just met you the other day. I don't even know you. Girl. Like, girl, you want to just start off being best friends because you know me through TV. Because that's not how this is gonna work. We could probably be best friends by season 2, where you're season 2, or season 3. But girl, we have to work our way up to that, right? I don't even want to talk about her. We'll talk more about Bianca in a little bit. Shamia and her sister. So Shamia is in her backyard living like a rich black woman. Her sister just got off work. Shamia in the back drinking. I know that's right. Oof. Girl, quality is kept. That's a life Portia want to live. Shamia worked, but what Shamia girl, I'm not trying to downplay what Shamia does. I'm not. But what Shamia do ain't taking care of that house. Shamia got a job at the radio station. Um, I think she hosts, she's a radio personality. So I'm not trying to mess on that because I would definitely take a job as a radio personality. But girl, that job as a radio personality ain't paying for that $9 million house. Girl, that job as a radio personality probably ain't even paying that electricity bill for that $9 million house. That's a big ass house. Girl, I know that electricity bill is thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. Girl. Anyways, but Shamia sitting in the backyard living like a rich black woman, drinking on a Friday afternoon. Her sister just got off work. You could tell. That's why Portia really mad. Baby, Portia, that's y'all home girl. Girl, I tell y'all, that Portia is a hater. Girl, that's a hater, baby. That Portia, that peach juice is a hater if I ain't never seen one. How you hate on your best friend, girl? Anyway, so Shamia plays her new song. The song is cute. Is she gonna win a Grammy for it? No. Never Had is cute. I think RL, some of you don't know, but RL, he was in a group called Next. And can I be your wifey? Yes, I'll be your wife. But that's a song, baby. Be your wifey. Yeah, 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 yeah. Hey! Yes, I'll be your wifey. Hey! That was a song right there, baby. Anyway, okay. So Portia meets up with her team. Oh, did y'all see Londi? Some of y'all may not know who Londi is. Londi was the thicker girl on the other side of the table that was sitting beside the guy. She passed away. That's Portia's cousin. I'm surprised they didn't even. I ain't gonna lie. Even though I know people don't really know who Londi is, especially if you didn't watch Portia's Family Matters. She had a big role. She was like one of the main characters on Portia's Family Matters. She passed away. I don't know. Did she have cancer? How did she pass away? I don't even remember. But she passed away like I think sometime last year. I thought it was kind of weird. Maybe they did, and I just didn't see it. That they didn't put. Sometimes when people pass away, they'll put like, rest in peace, or this episode is dedicated to Portia's cousin Londi. They didn't even do that. At least I didn't see it. Anyways, but yeah, she passed away. So shout out to Londi. May she rest in peace. But it was Portia, Londi, a guy, and a girl. Portia's team, basically. And Portia lets us know that she wanted to be retired by the age of 40. Girl, no, you just wanted to be a kept woman. I keep telling, this is the thing, girl. If you want to be a kept woman, be a kept woman. Okay? I know everybody got dreams to be the Maserati lady. The white lady, when she hopped out of the car, the white man asked her, what do you do for work? And she was like, work? I'm married. Because she was so disgusted. Let's say you fish. She was so disgusted. When I tell that white lady was disgusted that man asked her what she did for work. Girl, when I tell that lady was disgusted, work? Bitch, the ghetto. Who work? Girl, who work? Girl, we get married. Girl, my husband go to work. Girl, I take care of the home and spend the money. Hello? Anyways. I mean, it's really nothing here. She's basically adding some new items to her Pampered by Portia line. She's building $1 billion business. That's what she says. Um, Portia is such a big disappointment. Y'all think I be trying to read Portia, but I really don't. I like as much as you think that this is a read, it's not. Portia really had it all in the works to be like the next great housewife. To me, not to me, but I have to admit that Portia had a solid fan base. Portia was definitely a fan favorite. If Portia would have kept going the way she was going, Portia probably could have had this big over the top Martha Stewart line, right? But girl, you just wanted to quit your jobs. Girl, ain't that what Paige said? I got jobs, right? You wanted to quit your jobs and go be a housewife for a scammer. Because quiet as it's kept, girl, you trying to compete with Shamia. And then when it got hot in the kitchen, you ran back to Bravo, lied, because Portia did lie, because Andy came out and said that he did not know, he hadn't heard anything about Portia. He didn't know that Portia was getting a divorce. Because when she came back, remember she did that video talking about y'all say, and I'm paraphrasing, y'all say that Portia Williams is going to be on season 16 of Atlanta. It's not Portia Williams, it's Portia Gubadia. And then, girl, 3 weeks later, she getting a divorce. I think she lied to Bravo. And have y'all noticed that Portia has not filmed in that house? Yeah, girl, Portia be in her car. Girl, she be in the office. She be at the restaurant, but she is not filming in that house, because I think this was around the time that Simon was basically trying to get her banned from filming in the house. I think towards the end of the season, we'll probably start seeing her in the home. But as of right now, Portia giving friend of a housewife, if we're gonna be honest. Is Portia not giving friend of a housewife? I've been telling y'all, Portia does not have what it takes to anchor a show. As we can see, she doesn't. Kenya barely is even in the show, and Kenya is literally moving storylines along this whole since episode 1. That is a housewife, baby. That's a seasoned housewife. And the simple fact that Portia and Kenya have been on this show around the same amount of time, and Portia still can't anchor a show. Has more scenes than Kenya and still giving friend of a housewife. So Drew and Ralph. I put girl IDC. It's something about Drew and Ralph that I just don't find interesting. Let me try to be nice. Okay, I will say this, and I do mean this. This is the part. Okay, this is where y'all gonna have to explain to me. I know that every divorce, every breakup is not a war. Some people can break up and girl go about their business and it ain't nothing. Girl, ain't no love lost. Girl, if I see them in the streets, hey, how you been? Oh, you in a relationship? Okay, well, girl, tell your girlfriend I said hey. I'll tell your boyfriend I said hey, all right. You know, some people don't have these horrible breakups. I think that most people do, but I feel like everybody doesn't. So I am a little confused with Drew and Ralph's situation, because it appears as though Drew and Ralph really, 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 really get along, which I think is great. It appears as though they like really get along. That's why I'm so confused about, like, girl, what? I don't know, because the way that they appeared on camera, it really did seem like they were good friends. Ralph is living in the basement. Baby, that basement is big as hell. That's damn near a house. Girl. I'm thinking a basement is like some little, like I guess because I watch too much House Hunters. Girl, when I watch House Hunters, it's like the basement is like this big open space with probably like, a bathroom, right? And then you kind of create it the way you want to create it. Girl, that's like literally like damn near a house downstairs. I said, no wonder why he don't give a damn about being in the basement, because it's pretty much like another house. It's not like a regular basement. You know what I'm saying? It's like a rich folk basement, basically. Okay, like Sheree, like like Sheree's basement. Sheree got a nice basement. Girl, when I think of basement, I think of like I said, just like open space. I don't really think of like a bathroom, a kitchen, girl, a theater, But anyways, she basically told him that she would never try and keep, the kids away from him. Whenever he wants to see the kids, he can. This situation, it does, I don't know. That's what I don't even care about Drew and Ralph, because the storyline is so. Because they said something along the lines of, like 2 weeks ago, it was horrible. I guess when they go to court, it's horrible. But then when they come home and, I guess they have to co-parent and they don't want to put on for the kids. I mean, do a lot of carrying on in front of the kids. Then they kind of pull back. But again, based off of how they were interacting with each other in that yard, it almost seemed like, girl, they really don't have any issues. I don't know. I'll tell you one thing, baby, them kids would be down in that basement. Hey! Anyways, it almost feels like, I don't know. I guess because at one point the I don't care about Drew and Ralph. I don't. Girl, let's move on. So Kenya and Kelly. So Kenya is very, very open and honest with Kelly, and she lets her know that she put $400,000 into her business, and that was Brooklyn's college money, and she's nervous. The business is basically not doing well. There it's not doing well. Okay. And I know this was probably shot probably sometime, 2024 maybe. Um, has to be. Yeah, 2024, more than likely. And I don't know if business has turned around. I'm going to assume that it's probably still kind of struggling a little bit. I don't know. Um, but I like the fact that Kenya was honest and open, and she didn't try to get on TV and like, oh girl, no, we're doing good, girl. We just closed right. Some of the girls start putting on, girl. Oh girl, no, we're doing good, girl. It's great, girl. We just closed right now, girl. But girl, no, girl, a bitch is struggling. Okay, and girl, I don't know, girl, what's gonna happen, girl? Girl, I don't wasted $400,000 basically. Kelly basically says Kelly has a bodyguard with her. Kelly is a good addition. I've been on Kelly, but Kelly is a good addition. Kelly basically has a bodyguard because her husband threatened to unalive her. I said, "Oh, girl." Now it makes sense why those kids can't be around the daddy. Maybe she said that nigga threatened to unalive her in court. I said, "Oh, baby." And that's basically why the judge. That's basically why the kids can't see the father. And I don't think that's unfair. Let me tell y'all something. If you threaten to unalive your children's mother, you should not have access to the children. Because we've seen too many scenarios where these men, white or black or Hispanic or Asian or whatever, whomever, girl will spaz out. And in order to try to hurt the mother, honey, they will take out everybody in the building. Hello? Including the children. So, no, you don't get to see the kids. And if you are threatening to unalive your wife in the courtroom in front of the judge, baby, you are nuts. And if Britt ain't got, girl, a pistol, girl, like her homegirl got, she's a fool. Baby, that bitch better be at the gun range. Because if that man pop up at your house, baby, you better know how to protect yourself and your children. Hello? She basically also says that Mark wants all the businesses. I think her husband's name is Mark too. Because she told King, you have an Mark and I have an Mark. So I'm assuming both their husbands' names are Mark. Anyways, her husband, because I don't think they're divorced in this moment, but her, soon to be ex-husband, I think he wants the businesses. Girl, she said they were together for 11 years. They started the business 8 years ago. So I guess now they're trying to go through who's gonna get the business. I don't know, child. This is a mess. Girl, that's a girl. Now it's time to split up the assets. So Bethany and Cher is Bethany's sister. Did y'all notice that Cher has a scar right here? I want to know more about that scar on. It's like a deep scar, y'all. It's like a deep scar right around here. Did y'all see it? And if y'all don't know who Bethany, Bianca, girl Brenda, that's y'all homegirl Britt. When I stopped caring for the girls, I started calling them every other name in the book. Like I did Anne Marie. Remember Anne Marie on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills? Her name is Anne Marie. I call her Anna Marie. I call her Santa Anna Marie. I call her Ashley, Amy. Okay. Baby, hello? Baby Anna, Ann, whatever name I could think of that started with an A. That's what I'm gonna call her. whatever name I can think of that start with a B. That's what we're gonna call Brit. So Bianca and Cher meet up. Let me tell you what Brenda is giving. Brenda is giving. She says that back in high school, Cher was the one who always basically would fight for her. The girls would pick on her in high school. Brit has this thing where everybody is jealous of her. Did you hear her mention at the beginning of the episode when she said that she doesn't really get along with females? Brit has this thing where the girls are jealous of her, and they picked on me because I was a pretty girl. That's what she's giving. They picked on me in high school because I was a pretty girl. They picked on me, and I don't really get along with females because they're jealous of me. Pretty much, that's what she's giving. You could tell that she is someone who really, whose goal in life was to become a wife. And now that she has that title, she feels as though it probably makes her better or puts her in a different category than like the other girls. Like, I'm a wife. You know what I'm saying? Just based off of the way that she speaks. Her and her sister don't really communicate because the sister feels as though Brit has allowed her husband Croy. You know, I call him Croy. Her husband's name is Mike, but I call him Croy. The reason why I call him Croy is because it's giving Kim Zolciak and Croy. You remember how Kim Zolciak used to always have Croy drive her around? Every time. And didn't I tell y'all? Didn't I say last week or the week before last? Why is that man always around? Didn't I say that? I said, why is he always around? Every time I look up, he lurking somewhere. Go somewhere. Why are you here? Didn't I say that? So Croy, I call him Croy. Cher, from what it sounds like, when she gets upset, she blocks people. So then, you know, in Bethany's defense, if you block me, then how are we going to communicate and talk about the issue at hand? Because, girl, you blocked me. Okay, that's fair. But also, I believe that she is that type of girl that because she does have a husband now, that everybody else don't matter. Listen, I get it. I'm not stupid. You get married, you have kids, everybody else becomes second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. Girl, you're not my priority anymore. Fine and dandy. But I do think that it is messed up that so many people get in relationships, marriages, especially when they get a man. It could be a boyfriend of 3 weeks. Girl, they will cut everybody off and act as if, girl, you never existed. And that's what Britt gives me. Girl, Britt was literally sitting there shooting a scene with her sister, and Croy kept calling her phone. Why are you ringing my phone if you know that I am shooting a scene with my sister? Even if I wasn't shooting a scene, you know I'm out to dinner with my sister. Why do you keep texting and calling me? It almost appears as though Brenda and Croy have this codependency relationship. That's what it feels like to me so far. I don't get it. No, I get it. But because BB puts marriage up here, she is willing to kind of forego all of the other relationships that were there prior to her becoming a wife. So even if I don't even see my nephews, and girl, I one thing that my goal in life is to make sure that I always, when I tell you forever until the day I die, have a relationship with my nieces. I don't know. I don't know why I'm about to cry. Why am I about to cry? Girl, I don't know why I'm about to cry. Girl, why am I about to cry? This is so weird. Girl, why am I about to cry? Girl, I don't know what's going on. Girl, one of my goals in life is to make sure I always have a relationship with my nieces. Always. 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 Do you hear me? So when I am 70 and if they have boyfriends or girlfriends or single or whatever, I want them to always have a relationship with me. Girl, I could not imagine going a month, girl, without seeing my nieces. A month is a long time, especially when you live in the same city. Now, it's one thing if you live in different cities, girl. That's completely different. But Britt hasn't seen her nephews in a month. Girl, even if me and my sister fell out, I still would not let that get in the way of seeing my nieces. I just wouldn't. I just wouldn't. Anyways, but again, this is who we dealing with. Somebody who, girl, I got my man now. I'm a wife. You know what I'm saying? Um, Girl, I don't care. I don't care about them no more. Let's move on. Drew and Dennis. I told y'all. I told y'all Portia ain't running a motherfucking thing over there. I told y'all that. Girl, Portia ain't gonna stop nothing. Portia ain't stopping nobody from filming shit. I bet you Drew. I bet you Drew and Dennis still film. Portia ain't running nothing. Nothing. Nothing, baby. I bet you Drew and Dennis still filmed. Why you think you threatening somebody? I bet you I still show up to this scene and be mic'd up. So Drew and Dennis are in the studio together. Hey! Um and they can I say something? Drew actually can sing. We've heard Drew sing on the show. And I was like, oh, Drew actually really, really can sing. I just think that when people are not familiar with your voice, I think the last thing you should do is get in the booth and do like these ad libs that may sound great when you put them on the song. So Drew gets into the booth, and these are the words that she's singing. Bitch, I need to breathe. Bitch, I need to breathe. Bitch, I need to step to a side. Bitch, I need to breathe. I'm like, girl, that's girl. Drew sound the best. Even though I know she's probably going to, once they do the song and complete the song, it'll sound good. But I just feel like because a lot of people may not be familiar with Drew's singing voice, I think that when you show Drew on camera, she needs to be singing so she can show the people, girl, I actually really can sing. Because if I was watching Real Housewives of Atlanta for the first time and I heard this girl in the studio talking about, bitch, I need to breathe. And you talking about you come out with an album, I'll be like, girl, this album is trash. And the gag is, Drew album is really good. Girl, that's the gag. That's the gag. Now that is the gag. I could see Drew actually winning like an NAACP, maybe even a BET award. I really could. Now she gonna win a Grammy, American Music? No. Girl. I could see Drew getting a nomination though for one of those songs, especially Chicago Slide. What's it called? Urban Contemporary? Girl, one of those little awards, not a little, one of those award categories at the Grammys. I could. Chicago Slide is cute. I'm putting my. She said Bottega Venetas, baby. Anyways, so yeah, like I said, baby, Portia ain't stopping shit. Drew and Dennis still filming together. Hey, so the all black dinner. Kenya come in with a turquoise Versace dress. I would have sent that bitch home. Girl, the dress code is black. Girl, you better take your ass around the corner to Forever 21 to get you a black dress. Everybody have on black except Kenya. She said online that she didn't even open the invitation. She just showed up. I gotta believe it. Kenya goes around. Um, she speaks to everybody. They didn't show her hugging everybody, but even when it came to Drew, her and Drew kind of just like gave air hugs. I think Drew was on the phone and Kenya just did this. That's it. They didn't even touch. I don't even think their bodies even touched. Girl, it was literally like go back. If you go back and watch it, it was like this. And then she walked around to Britt and she actually made body contact with Britt. And she says that that wasn't a real hug. Girl, when I tell you Brenda is psycho, girl, you are nuts. I don't know what it is with this lady wanting these deep hugs. I don't know if she didn't get enough hugs from her mama when she was a child. I don't know. But baby, it's something going on. Baby, this is what happens again when you put fans on the show. Girl, you have this beef with Kenya and it's not even a beef. You've made this up in your head. You've made this up in your head. And now it's a problem because Kenya is not hugging you tight. She wants Kenya to hug her. Oh, I want to feel your breasts against mine. I want to feel your arms around my body. When you hug me like this, girl, right? It's not good enough. When I first met you at Shamia's home, you didn't hug me. Kenya didn't hug nobody. Girl. Shamia, I thought this was actually really, 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 really cute. Shamia brings some olive oil and a branch, and she gives Angela an olive branch. I thought that was so cute. I really did. And Angela's like, it's cool. We're starting all over. Really and truly, their situation wasn't that big of a deal. You know, she did talk about the lady's physical appearance, but it's nothing that they can't work through. The ladies are actually having a good time. I'm not gonna lie, I really did enjoy Portia's and Kenya's back and forth. So they were asking, Kenya was asking about some of the menu items. And she was like, "What are these?" And Portia was like, "Egg rolls." And she was like, "What are in the egg rolls?" And she was like, "Peach cobbler egg rolls. Everything is southern." And Kenya was like a little chitless. She was like, saying everything is rolled up in the egg rolls. You know, because y'all been to those restaurants where they have like, my first time ever trying this was when I went to New York at Melba's. And she has these egg rolls. I don't know if she still has them, but it will be like greens, macaroni and cheese. I think candy yams. It's like, it's like an egg roll. Anyways, so she was like a little chitlins rolled up. She said yam bites. It was actually really, really funny. So I'm like, oh, this is cute. Everybody getting along right, even though until they didn't get along. Hello. So they start talking about Kelly's. I forgot how it came up, but they start talking about Kelly's Balmain event that she just had. And basically, long story short, she said that Drew didn't buy nothing. Drew said that's a lie. She said she bought something for $2,000 for her son, a blazer. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't guess Drew a lie, girl. Okay, but I don't know why it for some reason. For some reason, I feel like I could see Drew not buying anything. I promise. Because remember Drew's first season when they were exchanging Christmas gifts and she came in there with that dusty ass wig? Do y'all remember that? So this is right on brand for Drew. But she said she was in communication with a sales associate. That doesn't mean anything. You can have an SA. That doesn't mean you being in communication with an SA that day doesn't mean that you purchased something. Does that make sense what I'm saying? The SAs know what I'm saying. A sales associate. Girl. They sometimes when you have a specific sales associate, you probably are you just go through that person. But what I'm saying is, I could basically see Drew not buying anything. And yes, you probably were in communication with a sales associate, but girl, did you buy something though? Girl, she's saying she bought a blazer for her son that was $2,000. I don't know if I believe it. I don't know. But I also I hope Drew just wouldn't lie about purchasing something when I don't know, girl. I don't know. Did everybody buy something? No. Who didn't? That's Kenya. Kenya asked did everybody buy something, and Kelly was like no, and then Kenya was like who didn't? Kelly says about Drew, clearly she's not used to being in these rooms supporting a case. Do better. She basically said Drew was ghetto, and all she want to do is come and drink your food and eat your shit. She said you're drinking champagne, eating, but not buying anything. I said not her calling not her calling her ghetto. Team Portia, Team Portia, Team Portia. Where you at? Team Portia, Team Portia. Come here. Team Portia. Come to the front of the line, baby. We got to have a discussion. Team Portia, your girl is a hater. Hey, your girl is a hater. Your best friend is a hater. Ow. I think it's this group called Emotional Oranges. Is Emotional Orange or Emotional Oranges? They have a song. I think it's called "Your Best Friend Is a Hater." Girl, your best friend is a hater. And so Shamia has a song, never had. She wants to play her song, okay? She said, I want to play my song. I want y'all opinion. And then she said, I've been singing since high school. And she starts to play the song, and Portia's like, that's not you, that's Drew. And she's like, this is me. And she was like, that's not Shamia's voice. I know her voice. Now let me say something. I'm not familiar with Shamia's singing voice, and I'm not that familiar with Drew's singing voice. I could see how if you don't know them, their voices are not so far apart where you would know unless you know them. Does that make sense what I'm saying? Like I've always said, if I close my eyes because I've watched this show for so long, I know how Kenya sounds. I know how Portia sounds. I know how Kenya sounds, right? That I could say, oh, that's Kenya Moore talking. That's Portia. That's so and so. Or if I was listening to somebody sing, I know how Jasmine Sullivan sounds. I know how Brandy sounds. I know how Beyonce sounds. I know how Fantasia sounds. I know how Deborah Cox sounds. I know how Whitney. You see what I'm saying? Like I know their voices. I don't know Shamia's voice, and I don't know Drew's. So I can understand, and their voices really are not that just. It's not like a Fantasia and a Beyonce where you know it's two different completely voices. Their voices are similar to me. And again, I'm not familiar with their voices. However, for Portia, you are familiar with your best friend's voice. Girl, I've seen videos of Shamia and Portia singing together. Okay? So for her to still try and say that this is Drew's song after this girl just sat at the table and said, I'm going to play you my song and I want y'all to give me your opinion. And then when it was all said and done, she said, are you on it? I said, baby, that's a hater. That's a hater. That's a hater. Girl, that's a hater, baby. That's y'all girl. I've been telling y'all about Portia for years. And now some of y'all starting to wake up. But I've been telling y'all about that girl. I've been telling y'all about Portia. I've been telling y'all about Portia. Y'all didn't want to hear me. Y'all thought I was a hater. Y'all thought I was just saying what I was saying because I was Team Kenya. No, girl, I'm Team Truth. Shamia felt some type of way. Because, girl, why are you doing this? Girl, why you keep saying that this is Drew's song? Why do you keep saying I'm not singing this song? Why are you acting like you don't know my voice? Girl, we've been friends since middle school. Out of everybody at the table, you should know my voice. Hello? That's y'all girl. I put girl, here we go. Write down a question and the person has to answer. Y'all already know this is the kiss of death. Girl, this is every reality show when they start to play the question game. This is when the shit pops off. It's almost like it just never fails. It never failed. What time is it? Hold up, girl. Okay. Okay, girl. Okay. Um, it's almost like whenever they start to bring up the question game, I don't want to play the question game because I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen. Somebody gonna fuck around and ask me something, and I'm gonna be offended, and then there's gonna be somebody at the table who I don't like. I'm gonna ask them something, they're gonna be offended because I'm gonna get my lick in. So everybody trying to get their licks in. Why we gotta play the question game? Because we know how the shit is about to go. The shit is about to go left, girl. Because somebody gonna say something that's gonna piss somebody off, girl. So, one of the questions I think to Angela was, "Have you ever had a threesome?" She says no. Portia says, "Well, I've heard something about Charles." I said, "Oh, baby." Angela said, "What is it?" She said, "No. We'll talk about it later." She was like, "Go ahead, the next question." Angela, see, you too slow on your feet. Well, since you want to talk about the husbands, let's talk about the husbands. Because I heard something about Simon too. Do you want to talk about the husbands? Because my husband might be an ain't shit nigga, but yours definitely, girl. Yours ain't no better than mine. So do you want to talk about the husbands? Let's talk about the husbands. Because my husband on the other side of town. Your husband about to be deported. Anyway, somebody says, "Dear Kenya, what kind of panties you have on?" It's actually not that bad. This is, Kenya Kenya stands up, girl. They don't show it. Kenya shows her panties. I'm not gonna lie. Portia does have her funny moments, even though she a mess. She said she's on Kenya. Girl, you have the biggest vagina. She said it was and it would talk. When she said it looks like it was gonna grab our food, I said I hollered. Oh, she said Kenya's vagina looked like it was about to grab their food. Just she said she had a big old vagina. I said, girl, y'all love showing y'all coochies. Girl, y'all love showing y'all coochies. Why can I ask a question? Why is it when the girls show why is it y'all can show y'all coochies and y'all don't say each other gay? But why can't the men sit around and show their penises and don't nobody say they gay? Well, the men do be doing that, girl. Men do that, quiet as it's kept. They do have a dick contest. Who got the biggest dick? Anyways. Then Drew asks a question. Then Drew asks a question for Kenya. Kenya says, "I already had my." I think at this point, Kenya is a veteran at this. She already knows how this shit is about to go. So Drew has a question for Kenya. Kenya says, I already had my question. Ask somebody else a question." I think Kenya started thinking like, "Bitch, because this is my second question." Girl, okay. It's too many girls at this table for y'all to keep asking me questions. No, don't ask me no more questions. I really don't think Kenya wanted to argue, fuss, and fight this season. And then the question was, why are you so worried about happily married women? And then Britt asks a question to Kenya. This is the third question for Kenya. Britt says, I didn't write this question down. I feel like the producers wrote these questions down. I really do. Can you speak to Britt kindly and without an attitude? That's what the question was. And Britt said, I promise I didn't write this. And I believe it. And then Kenya says the answer is yes, I can. And I can speak to everyone kindly. And then Britt starts saying, well, the question was about me. Can you speak to me? And then Kenya basically tells her, you want a moment. I'm not playing these childish games. Peasants can't come for the queen. Girl. And then Britt is like, I didn't send for her. I didn't send for her. Girl. Stop right now. As soon as I heard Britt say, I didn't send for her, I said, girl, that means you have been watching The Real Housewives of Atlanta at least since what season Kenya came on? Was it season 5, 4? So, girl, you are a fan. Because isn't that what she told Peter? Don't come for me unless I send for you. I think that was her first reunion. I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. Girl, you done went back. Girl, so you a fan. You like us girls. So you a fan of the girlies. Girl. Okay. Girl, so you really a watcher of the Real Housewives of Atlanta, girl, to the point where you're using Kenya's girl. You're using Kenya's words, girl, against her in an argument. Girl, that's like Sweet Tea. When Sweet Tea was on Married to Medicine last week, the reunion, was it not the reunion? Oh yeah, it was a reunion when she told was it Quad or Heaven? She told somebody that you're a non-motherfucking factor. Girl, how are you using Evelyn's? Girl, like, girl, get her off of my TV screen. Girl, Brent, get her off. Get her off. Get her off. So then Bethany starts to spaz out. I'm like, Brenda is doing too much. Get the fuck up out of here, bitch. She started calling Kenya bitches. It really just went downhill. Okay, at this point, okay, let's try to be fair. Kenya calls you a name, which was a peasant. You called Kenya a name, which was a bitch. We done. This is towards the end of the night. They start to leave. Kenya ain't said nothing to this girl. They all think that Britt is doing team too much. Even as Kenya and Portia are walking out together, even Portia's like, girl, she doing too much. Girl, you're doing too much. This is when I don't know why I be trying to give people the benefit of the doubt. So they're all standing by the door. And I hear Britt say, I still got my pistol though. But then I heard Kelly, I watched this part like 25 times. And I was like, okay, maybe she's talking about Kelly because Kelly made reference to her security guard, her bodyguard. And so I was thinking, well, maybe Britt meant that if Kenny's not around or close by, he's there, but not if he's not close by, girl. And if your husband show up, girl, I got my pistol on me though. But even if that was the case, like I said, why do you have a pistol on you while we're shooting these scenes? It's no different than how I felt about Croy. Remember when it got out that Croy came to the season 10 reunion? Season 10, yeah, I think that was season 10 reunion. And, Georgia is an open to carry state, I believe. And Croy had his peace with him. And they had to convince him to leave his gun in the car. What do you think is going to happen inside this building with these girls in ball gowns? I mean, okay, girl, you got the girls like Portia who will fight, okay? But for the most part, girl, do you think that it's is it really necessary for you to be bringing a pistol to the taping of the Real Housewives of Atlanta? Girl, get up out of here. Get her ass up out of here. You know that's how we say it in the country. We don't say here. We say her. Get her ass up out of here. I want her ass up out of here now. Why does she have a pistol in her Chanel at the Real Housewives of Atlanta taping, girl? What does she think is about to happen? Baby, ghetto, gutter snipe, hood. It's not ghetto, gutter sniper, hood to carry a gun. You all need a gun, okay? But what I'm saying is, in this scenario, why do you feel the need to have a pistol while we're shooting the Real Housewives of Atlanta at a restaurant with our Versace dresses on and heels? Girl. Like, what do you think is about to happen, girl? Okay. And then she continues to say, while she's walking outside, she calls Mike. Mike is Croy. So here comes Croy. I got whips and pistols, everything. I don't play them games. I'm not playing with her. You know what's so crazy? Because I do see a few people online acting as if what Britt said was not that major. There were so many people online. I remember season 5 fight night, Real Housewives of Potomac. There were so many people online who were saying that Candace deserved to get, you know, assaulted by Monique because when you talk shit, that's what happened. And where I'm from the hood. I'm from the motherfucking hood, you know. And when you talk that cash money shit, then you gonna get your ass whooped, right? All of that carrying on to the girl, you know what I'm saying? So it's mind-boggling to me how there are people out there who believe, and for the most part, everybody's team Kenya, be very clear. Okay. But it's so mind-boggling to me that there are people out there who believe that what Bethany just did is not that big of a deal. Because if you are in the midst of an argument, if there were two men arguing and another man said, I got whips and pistols, what the fuck do you take that as? Oh, well, no, he didn't necessarily just threaten him. If there's two women, if there are two people in the midst of an argument, not even an argument, because at this point, girl, on some real shit, he wasn't even paying that girl no mind. At this point, this literally is a one-sided argument. Kenya was walking, prancing around, girl, standing by the Rolls Royce like it was hers, girl, texting on her phone. Paying that girl dust. That's the thing. Brittany just was going off, which I'm kind of happy that Kenya did not go back and forth with Britt because it just made Britt look like an idiot. Because, girl, why are you so amped up? Girl, why are you so worked up? You're working yourself up. But in the midst of somebody going off and they start to talk about them having whips and pistols, girl, what are we talking about? And we're going to talk about what Kenya does next week. Don't get it twisted. We are. But what are we talking about? Why? Girl, we're not even going to play this game. Kenya, when she responds, it can be a lot, right? She'll bring a marching man down to your shit. Okay? But what we not going to do is sit here and act like Kenya pulling Kim Field's chair out is equivalent to someone at work saying that they have pistols and whips. And they say it numerous times. What we're not going to act like is Kenya bringing a marching band down to an event is the same thing as somebody saying they have pistols and whips. The production is ruining. Okay, let me drink this. Hold on, sorry. Well, excuse me. The production is ruining a show that was the number one reality show at one point because whatever issue they have with Kenya Moore. At this point, it's weird to me. While yes, Kenya did what she did, and we're gonna talk about it next week. But the simple fact that you have Britt who can threaten Kenya, someone who has been on this show since season 4, season 5, and you pretty much try to erase Kenya from the picture, and this lady is still able to shoot these scenes, is absolutely crazy to me. And yes, to a certain degree, I do believe in seniority. I do. If you were at a job and you've been at your job for 10, 11, 12 years, and a newbie came in and they started to act like what you've put into this job didn't mean shit, how would you feel? Let's have some real talk, y'all. Let's talk about it. How would you feel if you worked at a job for a decade plus, girl, and some new boy or girl, non-binary, non-gender conforming came in and they pretty much was like, girl, how would you feel? Girl, you're gonna show me some respect in this mother. Okay? You're gonna be respectful. You're gonna learn today. I don't do all that fake Hollywood shit. And then as Kenya gets in the car with Portia, her car wasn't there. I don't know what Kenya's car was. I don't know if she got dropped off by maybe she got dropped off by production. You know, sometimes they get production to drive them. So, that's probably what it was. So Portia asked Kenya, "Do you want to get in the car with me?" And so she gets in the car with Portia. She's like, "Girl, this girl talking about she got guns and shit." And Portia was like, "A gun?" She was like, "Yes." She was like, "She gotta go." Brenda gotta go. Girl, I'm so happy this is gonna be her first and last season. I'm already calling it. Girl, vindication is ours. Again, we're gonna get into Kenya when she pull her stunt next week. But as of right now, girl, my chopstick. I got a new bag, guy. Is she cute? I got her from Zara. Girl, okay. It's a cute little summer bag. I got two. I got this one and I got this one. See, this one is brown and it's bigger. And this one is smaller and black. Y'all just got these. You know, I love my little purse. But yeah, this is a mess. Girl, I don't know who makes. I know the president of NBC ain't just sitting back. Girl, he probably don't give a fuck about no Real Housewives of Atlanta. So I know that it's not the people at the top, but the people who make the decisions who are over the Real Housewives of Atlanta, girl, y'all are doing a piss poor job. And the way that y'all are letting these things, like y'all really took this show off the air for 2 years to come back. And then y'all want to brag about the new era of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. And girl, this is what y'all giving. And then y'all get mad, not y'all, but y'all. Then y'all get mad on Twitter when I say, girl, it's giving the real baddies. Then y'all want to start talking about, girl, it's anti-black. Girl, why do y'all want? Why is it that, girl, when people say that, baby, it's trash ass behavior to be threatening people with guns, and even with Kenya doing the RP, girl, it's team too much. Excuse me, it's team too much. And because we say we don't like it, all of a sudden we're being anti-black. No, it's ghetto. And it's hood. And it's low vibrational. And we don't like seeing shit like that on our TV. That's what I said, girl, when y'all start, girl, there's no shade, girl. Bravo, y'all fucked up when y'all start letting certain people on the show. Everybody should not. Everybody does not deserve to be a real house. You know how y'all feel like, and not y'all, but y'all. You know how y'all feel like everybody, Sweet Tea and Dr. Gregory automatically should be a cast member on Married to Medicine because he's a doctor. But just because you have a vagina between your legs, just because you're a woman, does not automatically mean that you have the right or you should be casted as the Real Housewife of whatever. You just a woman. Just because Dr. G is a doctor doesn't mean he has the right to be on Married to Medicine. Hell, he ain't even a talent. He don't even get paid. Or just because Sweet Tea is married to a doctor doesn't mean that she has the right to be on Married to Medicine. No, girl. You're just married to a doctor. Girl, this is trash. Girl, I don't know what Bravo NBC Universal is doing down to the Real Housewives, but y'all are ruining what used to be a great franchise because whatever hate, disdain you have for Kenya Summer Moore, that y'all are willing to get rid of her and to keep girl Miss Bianca around. And all BS aside, not to even be dramatic, but I was a little nervous for Kenya. While yes, there were definitely, production around, um, people around, I don't know if that was, Brenda's entourage, but just a simple fact. Remember when Taraji P. Henson was outside and all those men were crowding around her, and it just seemed very, it just got very, I was concerned for her safety, right? Um, and again, I know that this is, a tad bit different from the Taraji P scenario because it appeared as though she was out there just by herself and it was just strangers around. Um, but when I see the way that Belinda was cursing and just spazzing out and mentioning pistols and whips, and nobody really is like intervening to kind of just say, okay, y'all, this is enough. This is enough. Like, girl, cut. You doing too much. Like, is there ever a point while these women are at work and they're filming a show that production says, okay, this is too much. Girl, you doing too much. Because it appears as though production hates Kenya. So I can't even really count on y'all to protect me. And y'all see this girl, it's threatening me. Pretty much. We'll talk. This review already too long anyways. We'll talk more next week. All right, y'all. Y'all have a good day. Bye, y'all.